to start this off. Welcome to the show.
It's not bunch of fucking bullshit. It's not Shut turntablism. I hate you so much.
Shut the fuck up, Johnny.
Dude, I fucking hate that. Okay, sorry. Hello. Welcome to Things I Hate 79. Of course, you guys didn't witness any of that, but we just had one of the most rockiest starts in Things I Hate history. You know, like I'm sniffling, I'm sneezing, I'm blowing my nose, disgusting. There's some ghost noise ringing in here. I think it's coming from my downstairs neighbors that's just loud enough for me to hear, right? And it's bugging me out. I was saying I think my autism is like sound coded or what. I don't know what it is, but it's like I cannot abide sounds, things that are too loud. I need to get earplugs and shit. Anyway, where was I? So, yeah, it's fucking morning. It's Monday. You know, I got to get to work in like half hour, an hour. So, shouts out to all you guys. There's a comic, I won't say who, but this guy was telling me about his routine. He's like, yeah, like I train jujitsu, and then I train. Actually, you know what? I can't even do this. It's too obvious. But anyway, there was somebody who was talking to me about how they can do all this exercise and shit, and they don't have a job. And I was like, yeah, it must be fucking nice. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I didn't have a 9 to 5. I'd do all types of crazy shit. If I didn't have a 9 to 5, the Giggle Den would 100% come back. 100%. I was looking at some old reels. Giggle Den is a show I used to produce out of my apartment, and it was fucking rad. It was magical. If you ever got to go, shouts out, because it was pretty sick. So anyway, yeah, it's Monday. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but my friend's Kira's birthday was on Saturday, and we stayed out till like 3 a.m. So, you know, couldn't do it Sunday because I was like just too gassed. Had to take young boy out for a WALK, and then you know, do the rest of life shit. And when it gets to the afternoon, I can't do things I hate in the afternoon. I got to do it in the morning, you know, when I'm all jacked up. I'm definitely a morning dude. I wrote down, like, I'm definitely a morning dude because I was sending my friends, like, group chat memes at, like, 7 a.m. You know, and it's a weird group chat, so it's, like, when the cigarette hits your butthole, like, and then you want to, you know, it was, like, weird shit. When the cigarette hits your butthole, it makes you want to drink a beer, but have the lady slap you. You know, I don't know, like weird cigarette memes at like 7 a.m. And I was like just wired. Like I was sending everybody memes. So yeah, my hours of operation, again, shouts out Gabby Windy, definitely like 7 to 2 p.m. Those are my business hours for sure. Oh my God, I just sneezed. And then, yeah, comedy wins. I had my showcase for JFL, which is basically like an audition, but it's like a real show with an audience. JFL, sorry, is Just for Laughs, the Montreal Comedy Festival. And it went really well. I think I had the best set of the night. So really hoping that I would get that because that would be a big boost. And last time I said, you know, in all areas of my life, I'm in the shit. I'm in the arena, as it were. You know what? I'm hearing the you know, the song of the appliances, the song of my appliance people, and I fucking hate it. That's who I'd like to get on the show, is like the person who, the committee who decided this was a good idea. I found myself so many times thinking of like corporate ideation committees, right? Who are the people that build our lives, right? Because our lives are controlled by marketing focus groups, right? It's people sit around in a room and go, you know what people need is a fucking song in their appliances. It's like, I don't need that. You know, I need an appliance that doesn't have planned obsolescence. I need an appliance that's not going to break after 30 minutes, you know, or better, 1 minute after the fucking warranty. You know, I saw something and it was like this dude, you know, they said there was like a rumor that all the old fridges from the 50s or whatever needed to be replaced because they're not energy efficient and they cost you like $1 bajillion in energy. Some dude plugged his fridge outside, left all the doors open and left it running for like a week, and it cost him like $30 in energy. You know, something like that. I'm quoting the numbers out of my ass, but the point is like, you know, I don't need a song. I need good shit. My fucking stove, an induction stove. Ooh, so cool. Anytime you get a little bit of water on the flat control panel that has no buttons, it freaks out and turns off. So I'm cooking shit, and the instructions are like, even heat. Make sure it has even heat. Make sure the heat stays even. Heat the pan evenly. I get a little bit of condensation on it. Oh, fuck up. Stove off. It's like, what the fuck, man? Just give me a button and a flame and just, God, go back to buttons. Nobody likes touchscreens anymore. They're greasy smudges all over the glass. You know, we like a fun button. Like in the 80s, Hyundai came out with that electric concept car that looks like it's out of the 80s. That's fucking sick. Go back to buttons. We want buttons. And all the people are like, oh, well, button hardware can break over time. Well, then fucking make it good, dude. Make it better. Instead of planned shit obsolescence, make it good. I'm so sick of this shit. You know, it's just class war 24/7. On Things I Hate, it's 24/7 coverage of the class war and how it affects us in different ways, okay? And today, it's planned obsolescence so that corporations can make more money on their fucking bullshit products, okay? So that they build the buttons shittily so that in a year or two they can replace the buttons and charge you more for it, right? Because at those corporate ideation meetings, you know, marketing, research and development, whatever the fuck, they're sitting in a room and they're like, some young guy's like, I just made a button that will last for 3,500 years. Never need to fucking, and it's biodegradable. So like, after 3,500 years, it'll dissolve into the soil. And some guys are like, we don't want that shit. You know, the CEO, we don't. Hey, what the fuck are you doing? 3,500 years, we'll sell one, never again, right? No. They want the shit. They want the plastic that goes in the ocean and clogs the turtle nose. They want the plastic, microplastics in our brain. I heard some stat recently, you know, and again, fucking quote me, you know, I don't know, don't quote me. We have as much microplastics in our brain as a small spoon. I think I heard it on that Culturistas podcast with Bowen Yang and another gay dude. There's some fucking beeping that's driving me nuts. Anyway, you know, so these people are in these meetings, these CEOs, these corporations. They're in there making these decisions. And it's impacting all of our lives. And I'm just like, how is this fucking legal? You know, like you cannot be allowed to do this. We fucking steal. You know, shrinkflation. It's bullshit. Shrinkflation is things get more expensive, but you get less of it. So, you know, 5 years ago, you get a Kit Kat bar, it's 500 grams. Now, today, you get a Kit Kat bar, it's 400 grams for the same price or more. That's shrinkflation, you know, and they do it tiny, incrementally, so that you can't notice the difference in the size that you get. It's just fucking horseshit, man. I don't know how we instigate the ethical, you know, moral revolution. I don't know how, but it's just, maybe this is naive. I don't see a way forward in this except through heavy government regulation. Excuse me, vis-a-vis, you know, Nordic countries, I think. I don't know. Heavy corporate regulation. I don't know how you regulate, like, what's it called? Planned obsolescence. I don't know how. That would be really hard. Or by a moral revolution, which I think, honestly, is happening a little bit in millennials. That's why you get that meme from Gen Z, and it's like POV, like your millennial boss. And the boss is like, yeah, I don't give a shit what you do as long as you get your work done. That's a positive change, you know. Okay, sorry, hold on. That's a positive change. You know, we are seeing a bit of a, what's it called, a decline, especially in young men. Young men are pulling right. You know, I think that I saw that a bunch in Canada. We had that election recently, and I think a lot of young people, but especially men, but young women too, are going more right. I don't really know why in Canada. I don't know. I kind of get it in the States a little bit more, because the States are more like freedom, and like I don't really understand it in general. So maybe actually, shouts out Logan Gel. He told me to promote myself at the start of the episode. I didn't do that. I did it on the first take. But if you're listening and you know why, and please don't put some fucking conspiracy theory, right? If you know why and can quote your sources, you know, put it in the comments, dude. Comment me up, because I don't know why young people are pulling right. If you're a young person listening and you want to vote for fucking Joe Rogan, you know, comment, because I don't get it, and I would love to know the appeal, you know. So yeah. So anyway, it just fucking, I forget where I was going with this. Oh, the fucking song. Yeah, you know, I just can't believe how much corporations control our lives and how little oversight they have. The planned obsolescence thing really fucking burns my ass, you know, because it's like, dog, I just want to buy one thing once instead of for 100 fucking years. I just feel like we're just the populace today, the people just get bent over the barrel on so much shit, you know, fucking taxes, fucking bullshit products, bullshit fucking clothes. Your clothes get holes in them. They're finding jeans in abandoned gold mines from the late 1800s. They're finding Levi's jeans in perfect condition. There's a whole fucking market of like antique jeans. How could there be a market for antique jeans, you say? Jeans wear out in a couple years. Well, they didn't fucking used to, okay? They used to last 100 years and more. I just want jeans that last 100 years so I can throw them in a fucking gold mine for some future alien to discover and freak out about, you know? This is fucking bullshit. It's just something I hate. I've been really vibing with my podcast lately, you know? Oh, we got like 500 views on the last episode. Not on the last clip, on the last episode. And I know if you're listening, you're like, oh my God, 500, you know, that's nothing. Yeah, okay, it is nothing in the context of social media. In the context of what this is, you know, me, an unknown comic in Canada, like bitching about things, it's crazy to me. You know, 500 people are tuning in to listen to this. And, you know, it's like, I don't know, a view counts as like a minute. I don't know what the metric actually is for a view, you know, if it's like 3 seconds. I don't know. But the point is, I gotta sneeze again. The point is like, fuck. Goddamn. The point is that 500 people are tuning in to listen to this, which blows my mind. But I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. If you're listening, thank you. Want to give a shout out to a couple people. Shouts out Logan Gel. Already shout him out. Day One Fan. Shouts out Mike. I don't know if people want me to use their last name on here, you know, but I don't think they care. Shouts out Mike Latus and Lauren. Lauren, sorry, I don't know your last name. Because these guys have been listening a lot and they're my friends and it's just nice of them. And shouts out this guy who commented on my last video. His name is Upcycled Unicorn. Shout out to this guy because he left a fucking paragraph on the last video. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little shook, you know, and maybe this is arrogant, but I was like, I didn't want to get a stalker. Because it was very heartfelt. But then after I had that thought, I felt bad because I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy just poured his fucking heart out. And you're thinking, oh, what a fucking psychopath, you know? So I'm going to just Upcycle Unicorn, I saw your comment. It was very sweet and it was very touching. And so thank you very much. It was, I'll read you some snippets. He was like, yo, I like you, my guy. You just randomly popped up on my scene here on YouTube. Maybe because I watch loads of comedy, or maybe because I just really needed to hear someone speak like a human being. I love this. Keep doing this. I can't wait to listen to your comedy. So excited. And no one is funnier than anyone else coming from a non-comedian that loves all, even the non-PC. It's all perspective. Oh, sorry. So it goes on, and he's very sweet, pouring his heart out. So shouts out Upcycled Unicorn. I see you. That was a very sweet comment. Thank you very much. But yeah, so I've been pretty jacked up on this because it's starting to feel like good. Like I did this, I did my podcast, whatever, like 2-3 years ago, and I had some shit kind of blow up, and then I felt a lot of pressure to like keep blowing it up, like pretty classic. Now I'm doing it. As I always say, it serves two purposes. The first is like a writing venue, so it's like I have kind of half-baked ideas, that I rant about, and hopefully I can write some jokes about them. They get worked out, and then I can write some jokes. And then two is obviously for the content, hopefully grow a social media platform, blah, 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 all that shit. But it's just been like, I'm getting distracted by YouTube. I don't want to see this shit right now. It's just been good. I haven't been feeling a lot of pressure. It's been feeling fun, I'm seeing like a little bit of engagement, which is nice. And it's just feeling like a bit of a community. I don't fucking know. So, it feels good. Feels good. So yeah, okay, we'll get into it. Fucking ready. My boxers are turning into thongs. Yeah, I don't know. They're wearing through. And then I look at the holes the other day, and the holes are on either side of the middle seam. I'm going, soon it's going to be X-rated if I wear this shit out, So, yeah, I don't know. They're turning into thongs. Just kind of gross. Got to get some new ones. Yeah. Comedy wins, we did that. Carney French. So yeah, in the Canadian election, if you're American and you're listening to this, Canada has a parliamentary system, and what that means in part is that they have many parties. So, I suppose America does too, but like Canada has many parties that you can actually vote for and are actually present during the election. There are two main ones that are like much more popular by a pretty wide margin, but they do have other ones that are like visible and like in the debates and shit. So, but anyway, one of those parties is called the Bloc Québécois, and they would like to separate from Canada and have the Bloc, have Quebec be its own country, which is just like, yeah, I don't fucking get it. I'm obviously not Quebecois. I don't fucking get it. I do get it, but it just pisses me off. I was talking about this with my parents. It's like, anyway, because the Bloc Québécois is a party that's in the federal election. So you have a party in the federal election that's running to break up the country. A party in the countrywide election whose stance is, let's break up the country. Makes no fucking sense at first glance, right? But then you think about it and you're like, okay, what is a democracy? A democracy is a place where all people have voices. And currently in Canada, there is a group of people who do not wish to be part of Canada, right? They feel that way. And it's like, what would we do if we said you guys can't fucking run? Like, that would be like forceful detention of people who don't want to be here, in a sense, right? You know what I mean? Or who don't want to be part of this group. So it's like, you have to have that in democracy. It's honestly got to be the sign of a healthy democracy that they have a platform in the fucking countrywide election. It does fucking piss off, I think, a lot of people, including me, right? Because it's like, dude, what the fuck? But whatever. It's their fucking election, or it's their stance. Shouts out, power to them. But what kind of pissed me off is like, I guess it's not really related to this party particularly, but like every time there's an election, there's a big focus on English candidates of if they can speak French and how well, right? And they're like, oh, you don't know your grammar. Carney, the guy who won, Mark Carney, he can speak French like okay and kind of slowly. So the French are kind of like, oh, I can't, And then we get on the election, and like we get on the. I'm watching the debate, and the French guy goes up, and he's like, "Okay, so no, I can't even do the Quebec. It's like, okay, we're going to bring the country to a new spot, and it will be good for the country in total. In total, I'm mixing up the Canada, but you know, he's like, and it will be good. I can't. What's the fucking Quebec? Okay, no, okay. I can't fucking do it, bro. I'm living in Montreal. Anyway, he's like butchering it. You know, his grammar's fucked. His accent is atrocious. And no one blinks an eye. And I'm just like, it's a double standard. You know what I mean? Fuck that. Like, you can understand him fine. You get what he's saying. But it's like, he's butchering the pronunciation and he's butchering the grammar. And that's just like, well, yeah, no problem. I was like, so anyway, there's like a double standard there, and it's kind of like, dog, what the fuck? But I guess if you don't want to be part of, you know, English Canada, then why the fuck would you learn the language? You know what I mean? So makes sense. Social interactions don't follow rules. Oh. At work, we are about to go live with a project, and like, so basically my work is like, it's projects. So you like collect requirements, and then you like from the customer, you do them, right? You design the solution, you implement the solution, and then you go live. And usually our projects are like net new. So we go from like as net new as opposed to like a project that's existing, that's already live with clients and customers and like people facing. And then we come in and update. Those happen less with us. Usually we go from like not at all active to activating. And so what that means is that like people don't see it and then they do, right? And we were doing a project, and we have a go live, like we're about to, you know, turn it on. And we were talking, and it basically came up that we were like, oh, let's screen record all of the before, because this project was live, excuse me. It was already kind of candidate facing or client facing or whatever. And let's screen record all of the before, and then that way if we go live and the customer says like, well, this was wrong, blah blah blah, we can go like, no, that's how it was before. That's a good idea, but the thing is, my boss is like, yeah, but we still will have to fix it, right? Because it's like, we're consultants, we're in the service industry, you know. It's like, to bring it back to my painting job, you know, if the client, painting is a little bit different, but it's like, you know, if there's like a little, I don't know, like bump in the wood or something, and you go after with the client, and the client's like, oh, you didn't fix that bump. And it's like, yeah, well, the bump was already there. It doesn't matter if the bump is going to be there. The client is still going to be pissed, right? Because it's like, they don't want the bump. They thought it was agreed that you would take it out. And, you know, in this case, the bump is maybe not something, it would take another half hour of work, right? Something like that. Even if it took a little longer. The point I'm trying to make is like, what I wrote down is there's no rules in social interactions, because it's like, even in this kind of business situation, you know, my boss is like, we still need to fix it. And he's right, because if we didn't, the client would be pissed and we wouldn't get a recommendation, right? We would still get our money, but like in the worst case, what would happen? We'd have to, you know, take them to court over the fucking bump in the woods, you know, to get our fucking money. Bump in the wood, you know? And we have to go back and into the contract. As you can see, there was never a bump in the wood fix in the contract, right? And time and money just to get the money, as opposed to fixing the bump for a little bit, right? And I wrote down there's no rules in social interactions, because it's like, how do I put this? It's like, I was thinking like you can't just, it's kind of like if you live with a roommate and they're like, they only do their dishes, right? or like they only ever cook food for them, right? Or it's like they just live in a silo. Like you can't live in a silo. And I'm saying this from my own personal experience and philosophy because I was like this for sure. It's like, well, I'm only going to do my shit. I'm going to do that. You know, I'm only going to cook food for me. I never, you know, like I should rephrase, you can't live like that and then expect a conflict-free lifestyle. You can't live like that and expect everyone else to understand it perfectly, right? Because like you might be following the rules, but it's still kind of shitty, or like at the very least it seems unfair to other people, or like, you know, you're still gonna piss other people off. Like I think I was living like that and then expecting people to be like, oh yeah, no problem, you know, like, well, I'm, you know, well, like I only, you know, like I don't know, there's a bunch of rotting food in the fridge, and I'm like, well, I only threw out my rotting food because that's just all I'm thinking. And they're like, yeah, but bro, you know, like you left the rotting food. Like, okay, let's do this. Okay, so you live with a bunch of people. You live with like 3-4 people. Everyone's away on vacation. Everyone forgets some food in the fridge. It starts to rot. I come home first, right? And I see in the fridge all the food rotting. I only throw away my rotting food. By the time they get home, the rot is way worse. Now the fridge stinks. Now there's like irreversible damage done to the fridge. It stinks in there forever. And they get pissed. They're like, bro, you didn't throw away all our food. You only throw away yours. And it's like, I would be like, yeah, because I was just following the rules. It's my food. I'm just going to throw away mine because that's mine. But it's like, no, you know, you can't just follow the rules and live in a silo. You have to take in all the context of the greater situation. And maybe a lot of you are listening and you're like, man, this guy sounds fucking autistic. And it's like, yeah, yes, definitely. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, that's how I was living for a while. That's the feedback I got in my relationship and the feedback I got at work. I keep talking about this like overlapping feedback in my life, but just because it's so relevant. I see it all the time and in all areas of my life. You know, you just cannot live in a silo. And the screen recording thing kind of really highlighted it. But yeah, you have to take in the greater context of things and be considerate, I think is another thing. Like be considerate of others. And that means like thinking of them. And oh my God, this sounds so brutal. Me and Caitlin were talking last night about, she was like, do you remember at the start of my relationship, Caitlin would be like, hey, do you want to go do something? You're like, hey, Tom, do you want to go to the market today and like go look at flowers or like, go shopping? And I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. And she would be like pissed because obviously she wanted to. And then we get in a fight and I'd be like, well, you didn't say that you wanted me to come. In retrospect, this is so dumb on my part. I remember having literal fights with her and she was like, I was like, well, all you said was you asked me if I wanted to. And I remember like really believing, I'd be like, you didn't say, let's go and do this. Tom, I want you to come do this. You would just say, hey, do you want to do this? And I go, no, I don't want to do that. I want to stay here and play Melee. Which is like the classic argument. I just never thought, you know, call me arrogant. I thought I was different from the average guy. I didn't think I would succumb to such pedestrian arguments with my girlfriend, such foolish and jock-like and Neanderthal arguments. I thought I was above the rest of the men. Fucking kill yourself, dude. Oh my God. But yeah, I remember like literally being like, well, you didn't say that you wanted me to go and that we should go and do this. You asked me if I wanted to. I must have said that many times, and she would fucking lose it. Yeah, so you got to be considerate, you know. And I'm trying to do that a lot more now. I had this thing, because I would have with my friends too. I'd be like, let's go do this. And in short, it's like very bossy, you know. And one of my best friends, you know, JF, he would be like, it's always got to be your way. And I was like, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? But now I get it. So anyway, you got to be considerate. Blah, blah, blah. Begged for sex. Woof. I just, we all have these moments where we think back, and you want to throw up because you did something that was so fucking embarrassing, or stupid or lame. You know what I mean? You're washing dishes and all of a sudden you just shake because you're like, God, why the fuck did I say that? And I used to get so depressed about it. I used to think about those and be like, I'm such a piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with me? And it's like, hey, whoa, like such a piece of shit is a guy who fucking robs and kills old people. That's a piece of shit. That's a fucking scumbag. Me, I'm a regular guy. I do embarrassing shit, Like I was thinking about this time I was in a university. I begged for sex. I was with this girl. We hooked up, and she was kind of like getting tired, and I was like, please, fucking, please. It's fucking embarrassing. It's disgusting. I don't like thinking about it. I'm not even sure I really wanted to say it, but like I would think about that, and I'd be like, I can't believe I did that. And it's like, bro, I'm sure people have done that in their lives. I'm sure every guy has done that at some point, or maybe not, but like, fuck it, whatever, It's not murdering. It's not this. It's not, like I said, robbing old people. It's not fucking insurance fraud. I was really fucking horny, and I was kind of drunk, and I was not in a good spot in my life, and I just really wanted to bust it on. I was like, please, please fuck, But I would think about that and be like, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. It's like, no, like you're just kind of regular. And I'm embarrassed right now because I'm still like, woof, you know what I mean? But anyway, I was just like, when we have those thoughts where it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with me? Just remember that everybody or many people have done the same shit as you. So unless, you were beating the shit out of a cripple, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to freak out about it. That's all I'm trying to say. Tenacious Nvidia versus Outside. I mean, everybody knows about my Melee addiction by now. I fucking love Melee. Melee. I could play Melee for like... I could play Melee for 5 hours, no problem, straight. I could definitely do that. I wouldn't be in a good mood at the end of it, but I could definitely do that, And I was just thinking, like, bro, I'm so tenacious in Melee. I'll play a guy who kick my ass, like beat me into the ground over and over. I'll just keep getting up, coming back, right? In a video game, no problem. I'm like, how come I can't move that tenacity outside? You know what I mean? I want to move it IRL, because I'm at work and sometimes I see this problem and I'm like, oh, fuck this. And I just like go and do something else. I suppose that's the nature of games. They're made to keep you engaged. But I just thought, I was like, bro, like I can get my ass kicked online for like 5 or 6 hours and just still be into it. Like I said, I'll probably be in a bad mood at the end of it because I'll be pissed and frustrated. But I'll still be focused. I'll be trying to improve. I'll be thinking about it. I'll be trying to solve the issue. Meanwhile, IRL, it's like, what happened? I don't know. Oh, it's like, like in real life, like, the vacuum head to our vacuum broke. And I went online to order a new one, and I find this specialized vacuum store. And the piece that I think that I need is not available to click and buy. And why is that? And they say because people often mistakenly purchase this for the wrong type of vacuum. So it's like you need to email in to ensure to the store owners, because they've had so many mistaken orders. You've done your homework and checked, and this is the right piece. I like that. It's a good policy. But it took me like a week to email in, because what that meant when I saw that is I had to stand up, walk to the closet, slightly disassemble the vacuum to find the model number. When I mean slightly disassemble, I mean like remove the dust thing, right? Base, right? read the model number, and then type the email, right? Nothing. I had to do almost nothing. But that small bump of a hill, I was like, oh, fuck it, I can't do it. Right? Whereas 5 hours of just mental punishment from like staring at a burning screen, just, you know? And I was like, Jesus, how the fuck can I do that shit for 5 hours? 5 hours is so long, right? More than half the workday of mailing. And I can't do the 30-second task. I find myself so often when I have a good day and I'm getting all this shit done, I get a ton of shit done. And then I'm like, Jesus, it's only been half an hour. I'm like, I'll like clean, cook, fold the laundry, like take the dog for a walk, all this shit. I'm like, holy Christ, it's only been 40 minutes. Whereas Melee, the time like fucking melts away. Anyway, so the tenacity thing is like, I look at these small tasks. I'm like, oh, I can't read my vacuum. Whereas like, oh, but can I burn my retinas and fucking just put myself in virtual Sisyphus mode of rolling up a boulder to conquer nothing, right? Fucking video game for 5 hours. Yeah, I can do that. No problem. So I just got to port that tenacity out of video into some fucking real world shit. I think we got to wrap this soon. Compulsive introducer. Can't chill until I met everyone at the party. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just like, maybe it's ego or something. Probably ego. I hate going into a group and just sitting, and you haven't met everyone. And it's like, I don't know about you guys and everyone else, but it's like, it's just burning in my brain. Like I haven't met that person. And it's in there. And it's also, I think it is ego. Cause I'm like, you're not going to fucking introduce yourself to me. Don't you fucking know who I am? I'm Tom motherfucking Murphy, better fucking know who I am, piece of shit. So yeah, I don't know. Just like, I just got to know you. And also I'd like to know why you're here, like the relationship. Like I hate it when people are just like, I'm Joe, I'm Susan, I'm fucking Francesca. It's like, how do you know the people here and why the fuck are you here, right? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? Because I need to know where to put you in the social hierarchy. I had this other thing too where it was like at work, right? Same, I'm talking about the feedback, blah, blah, blah. I realized my ego comes into play a lot because I realized lately, like, I was so focused on ego at work where anytime we were in a meeting, instead of focusing on the content of the meeting, I was focusing on how do I become the biggest dog of the meeting, right? I want to be the boss's right-hand man. And I was checking everyone constantly in the meeting of where we're all falling in the social hierarchy and how the social interaction is going. Insane. And I kind of realized that because, of course, I would get, I'm insecure. Then I'd get in a fight with my colleague or whatever. And I'd be like, you fucking piece of shit. Because I'd like, you're trying to slight me. You're trying to make me look like a piece of shit. It's like, no. And I just, of that consideration thing, it's like, I need to fix the solution, right? Focus on the solution, focus on the problem. And so I started to have to do in these meetings of like, I can no longer afford to occupy my mind with the intricacies of our social interaction and hierarchy at this moment. I need to put that energy into being aware of the project and finding the solution. It sounds fucking obvious, but I just, it's this fixation I've had ever since I was a kid. I don't know why. I just have always been super aware of the social hierarchy and social interactions and just been compulsive about their perfection. I've never articulated that, but that's definitely it. I had a perfectionist attitude towards social interactions. And if there was a small hiccup in them, I'd freak out. Oh my God, this is healthy. So realizing how insane that is and consciously putting that energy into like, okay, forget about that and think about the solution. You know, it's opening up a whole new world. I'm still only a rookie at it, right? Because my habit of 33 years and my habit, you know, is to default to thinking about social hierarchy and interactions. Also, I just want to point out social hierarchy, not a fucking thing. Okay, sure, kind of, but like it is a thing because we're all evolved from apes and monkeys, right? But not a real thing that people would like put merit on, in a sense. It is kind of a little bit, but like if you're with people who are good people, it doesn't really matter, right? It shouldn't. So not a real thing, you know, and I'm just burning all my time into this. So yeah, so not a thing. And especially like a lot of my colleagues I consider my friends. And it's like this social competition and hierarchy. And it's like, oh, what an awful thing to entertain with your friends about. You know, I think it would get in the way of a lot of my friendships too. And I just, it's all stems from this insecurity. So I was really like putting that to bed. And yeah, just help me kind of get better at doing my fucking job and having friends. You know, because if you're constantly competing, it's just, anytime I was in a group of friends, I was like, I want to be best friends with the leader. I have to be best friends. I remember it as early as grade 2, which is like under 10, I'm pretty sure. Excuse me. Yeah, gotta be like 5 or 6. I remember it clearly. I remember having a social rival and having a social goal. Like, I want to be friends with my buddy Elgin. I want to be his best friend. I want to be the best top friend that only he confides in. And I remember having a goal of like this rival Simon, who I thought was such a dick and such a piece of shit, and I wanted everyone to ostracize him and push him away. Crazy. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's probably something with my family, you know, because like I'm the youngest. So I probably often felt discarded or pushed away, or not pushed away, but like forgotten, right? I don't even want to go down this road, you know. But so I remember that clearly. And yeah, I think that's part of the introduction thing, is like I got to meet everyone here because they got to know and I got to know them. And I got to say, hello, I'm Tom. Now you're beneath me. Terrible, but you know, that's what I was thinking. So it's good. But lately I've been able to chill out on these compulsions. That's really what they are, like compulsions, you know. And for everything too, for the introduction thing, I can sit and not know someone. It actually it happened in the office too, like where my bosses would bring in people who I didn't know, right? Like their friends or whatever. And I'd be like, after the people left, I'd be like, who the fuck was that? Like, why did you have them in here? Because it's like, they're in my little group. You can't just come into my group without my fucking permission. At my work, which is crazy. But that's how I felt. I was like, don't fucking come in. This is my zone. You stay the fuck out. Yeah, it's crazy. It reminds me, like, when I was 2 years old, I was in diapers hanging on to my mom's leg while we were out in the front lawn playing, you know, my sisters. And a person that we didn't know, we were on the corner in the suburbs, right, on the corner. So we had the corner of the street, the inner corner. A person that I didn't know stepped on our lawn, which is the corner of the street. And I saw that at 2 years old. This is a story my family loves to tell. I saw them step on, and I go, diaper, hand on my mom's leg. I go, hey, get off my lawn. I don't know, man. It's just wired in me. I don't fucking know what it is. You know, 2 is pretty young to take in social shit. So I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just hey, why don't you step back? That feels pretty deep in me. Hey, why don't you fucking watch it? I think we'll end there. I have a bunch of other shit, but that feels like a good place to end. You know, I think keeping the episode shorter is more fun, right? As opposed to beating them into the ground for an hour. Plus, it's like 9:10. I got to get ready for work. The dog needs to go for a walk, and, you know, I got to do shit, you know. So I think we'll call it. Love you guys. Yeah. So once again, like, comment, and subscribe. You know I hate saying that because it's disgusting, but disgusting to ask for help. That's another. We'll save that for another time. But yeah, that shit helps me directly. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, those are my big ones. S'il vous plaît. If you want clips from the show, you can follow Things I Hate Pod on Instagram. But please follow regardless Tom DL Murphy. That's your boy. So yeah, comment on it. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment on some shit. Comment what you thought about this. Upcycled Unicorn, if you got another fucking paragraph, let me hear it, big dog. Let me hear that shit. Shouts out to everybody. Yeah, that's it. Happy Monday. Have a great week. Love you guys. Bye.